Hello everyone, this is Manal Abdul and today we need to go over part 6 dynamic blocks. Let's have a quick revision about the parts that we've covered before. Part 1 drawing tools, part 2 modifying tools and layers, part 3 annotation viewports, part 4 isometric drawings, part 5 defining blocks and attributes, part 6 dynamic blocks. Today, we need to go over these objectives, creating dynamic blocks, stretch, alignment, visibility state, and array. After watching this video, I recommend checking the description for any exercise files or recommended videos to watch. Let's jump into AutoCAD. Today, we need to create blocks. As you see here, I do have kind of objects. They are not yet blocks, so we need to create them blocks. But this time we will go over dynamic blocks, which has some special features that will save you time when you create it. We will go over 4 main topics, which is how to use stretch and alignment in creating dynamic blocks, how to change visibility states, and how to create array. At the beginning, what's dynamic blocks? As you remember from View Tool Palette or Control 3, we can access the tool palette. And as you see here, this little symbol indicate that this is dynamic blocks. That means it's a block that have special features. So it could be supporting multiple directions, a flip, align, stretch, change the opening, or any other features. Let's have a look of that. For example, this tree here is dynamic. If I go over it, click on it, you see here visibility states. That means there is an arrow, you can click on it and that will give you different options. As you see here, between elevations, between other stuff. So here, if you click on this little arrow, you have a plan, you have elevation. So you need to choose between any state that you like. So this is one example of the visibility states, okay, that we will create something like that today. Also, for the door, if you go for the door, you will have, when you click on it, select it, you have increments that you can stretch. Okay, see this increment here. This is one example of a stretch and adding increment. And today we will create something like that as well. And we're gonna use that with a stretch, and so we'll add increments for that. The last thing, we have array. I don't think here is an example of the array, but I will show you today how to create it, and we're gonna create an array for this dining table. And here, another example for windows, as you see there. If you click on the window, this is another increment for the stretch that you can apply for this. So let's get started. And the first thing, here is a bathtub that I created. And please check the description. I'm gonna add this exercise file, so if you need to follow along with the exercise and the practice. This bathtub actually only lines and polylines, arcs, fillets, so it's not a block. Let's convert it to blocks first. So B enter, you can make B enter or insert create blocks. Okay, either one, B enter or insert create blocks. Now we need to give it a name. The first one is, let's give it a name like bathtub. Now, after that, we need to follow here as we described in a previous video about the blocks, part 5. Pick points. We need to pick a point. A lot of users pick any point outside. That will not be helpful a lot, so you don't control. So make sure you pick significant point. Select objects. Let's select the whole lines and hit enter. It's very important to hit enter after we finish. We have 3 options: retain, convert to block, or delete. I'm gonna keep it retain, and that will keep it as lines and polylines, so will not convert this particular one to blocks. However, it will create another block. Now we can write anything here for the description, some meaningful description about the bathtub. For example, bathtub 5 feet to 7 feet, or any other descriptions. Okay, so here you feel free to put a description about the materials or about the block that you are creating. Then you click OK when you're done. So far, this one didn't change to block because I had the retain option, but we will find it on the bathtubs, and here you go. Now I'm gonna click on this bathtub, like there, and this one is a block. As you see, it has one grip. So if we need to convert that to dynamic block, now it is regular block, but we need to give it some more actions. Let's double click on it, open it with block editor, selected. Okay, now this screen is block editor. And be sure here that you are on the block editor, not in other tabs. So this is the block editor. As you see here, we have the authoring palette, and we have parameters and actions. Then we have other tabs here for the parameter sets and constraints. Basically, today we will work with parameters and actions. The parameters we need to give this bathtub dimensions. So we're gonna give it linear dimension. So click on linear, because I need to stretch it to the right to make it longer. So I need to have a linear parameter there. As you see here, I have two arrows, but when I need to stretch it, I don't need to stretch from the left side, only from the right side. So let's click on that, and right click, we'll get the grip display and make it only one. That will make only a grip arrow. Now after that, you will see, notice here that I do have exclamation mark. That means I need to add an action. So this parameter means missing an action. Let's go on action. An action means what do you need this parameter to do? In this case, I need to stretch it. So I click on stretch, select parameter, specify parameter point. So keep your eye on the command line. I need to stretch from this point. So I click on this X, the red X here, and specify first corner to stretch. And also, if the dynamic input is on, you will find the instructions on your cursor on the screen. So the first corner, I need to open a window from the right, the upper right corner down. As you see here, you click from the upper right corner to the lower left corner, and this is the window. Now select object. Also, you need to select the same way from the upper right corner to the lower left corner as you are selecting for stretch. Okay, when you finish selecting, you hit enter. So here it's important to decide which direction you need to stretch and select the window. If you need to select from up, so you select the window from up. The side that you select the window for stretching is the side that it will work. Now after that, we need to check. Let's test the block and see if it's missing anything before saving. So let's go test the block. And as you see, click there, you find this grip, you get this grip. It looks like it's 60, and we need to go to the right. It's working perfectly. Let's close. I'm gonna change the units to architectural, okay, to make it feet and inches. Also, if you don't find the units down, you can type U and enter and change that. Also from the customization panel there, make sure the unit is checked just to find the units. Remember that from the customization panel, everything missing in the status bar, you'll find it there. And here's the unit has a check next to that. That means it is down here on the status bar. Otherwise, it will be hidden. Now I change the unit to architecture, just make the feet and inches. After that, I need to add increments. Increments, as you saw before with the tool palette, will add some lines to change and modify the length. So I'm gonna click on the distance, right click, choose properties. After that, I will scroll down, and here under the value set, the distance type is none. I'm gonna change that to increment. Okay. Now the distance increment, I need to have 6 inches. So I'm gonna put 6, and because I changed the unit to architectural, that will allow me to give 6 inches. Now the distance minimum, what do you need? The minimum distance for your bathtub. I'm gonna go with 5 feet if it's a small one, and the longer one is 7 feet. You can put any distance here, how long you need it to be. For 5, or if you need it, for example, 4.5 feet. So you can change this and change these dimensions. Now, after you're done, hit enter, and you can exit the properties. Okay, see here that I got some increments. Let's test the block. You click on that, and here you get some increments, and we'll show you that it's going shorter or longer. Close test block. So here we apply the stretch and the increment. The last thing I need to talk about is alignment, and this is something with parameters. Alignment will give you a way to align one of the sides to the wall. So it's easier to, when you insert the block, it will be automatically aligned to the wall. Alignment doesn't have actions. So just you need the parameter, and when you go to alignment, specify base point of alignment, you choose a point, okay, like the direction, and then specify alignment direction. I need to align to the top. So here I created alignment. Let's test the block. I'm gonna draw a line, for example, here. Okay, and let's try to insert the bathtub, and if you see here, when I go closer to the line, it will align to the wall from the side that I decide. So it's working perfectly. We go to close, and now we close and save. You go to save changes to bathtub, and here you go. Now this bathtub is dynamic lock, and it is aligned. You're gonna find it in the insert bathtub, and here you go. Okay, so this is the dynamic block that has several increments. The second example that we need to talk about is the visibility state, and as I mentioned before, the visibility state, we can change the state that you need to use. So here in this example, I'm gonna use the 3 kinds of bed: king, queen, and twin size. You can apply this example to anything, like if you have doors, different doors, if you have different arrows, different windows, or any other thing that you need to change. That will save you a lot of time. Instead of creating several blocks, you can create one block. The patterns of tiles, the windows, the sinks, the bathtubs, or any other things. Now let's see how we create this visibility states in dynamic blocks. The first thing, we need to draw all the states. Like here, I have 3 different states, 3 sizes of the bed. So draw them using the drawing tools, lines, arcs, curves, whatever the shapes are. After that, what we will do here, create block or be enter, give it a name, bed. Base point, pick point here carefully again, pick point, pick one of the significant point. Objects, select object, select all of them, all the things that you created. If you create several kind of dining tables, select them all. So every single thing you need to select it and create them all in one block. Then hit enter. Let's retain that, we don't need to change that. Add a description, for example, king, let's make that king, queen, and the twin bed sizes. So here again, the things that you need to add to your dynamic block, you can change the units, but I'm gonna make that inches. Then okay. Now after that, since it's written, it's not there, you're gonna find it in the insert and it should be here. So this is the bed, bring it there. Double click to open it with a block editor. Here you go. Click OK. Now we open the block editor again. Here again we have the authoring palette and we need to add visibility states. So here you go. You get the visibility state and you create an arrow. Let's replace it somewhere here, a corner or somewhere here. This is the visibility, the arrow that you need to change the visibility from. Once you created the visibility state parameter, you will notice here on the visibility, you got some, it's now active and you can change the visibility states. Now let's click on visibility states. Make sure you are in block editor, visibility state, and let's rename this one. As by default it's 0. Let's rename it, and here you need to use a meaningful name like king size or whatever that you need to see in this step. You create a new one, queen. Okay, you create a third one, twin. Okay, for all the sizes or all the things that you are doing, if it's dining tables, so oval, circle, square, or whatever sizes you have, sinks, whatever sizes you have. So just be creative here, what you can apply it for. A tremendous kinds of a project. Now you click OK. As you see here, we do have three states. On the king, I just need to see the king bed. I don't need to see the queen. I don't need to see the twin. So I will select both the things that I need to make them invisible and click on this little icon here, make invisible. Okay, so that will hide them when I call check here the king and select it. Now let's move to another one, queen. What do you want to see when you are on the queen state? I would like to hide this, make it invisible, and I would like to hide this bed, also invisible, but I need to keep the visibility arrow. When you are on a twin, the third one, I would like to hide the queen and this bed, so I just need to see the twin size. Okay, enter. So again, when you are in the twin, this one is invisible and this one should be invisible, and make sure you leave the arrow visible. Now let's get back to the king and we are going here. Well, okay, let's test the block and see what happened. Now I have the queen, the city arrow. I have three visibility states, queen, twin. It looks perfect, but I need to move it. Like I don't need when I click on this arrow to have the twin far away from the arrow. So let's close. And now I will go to the home tab, move. Okay, I will move this bed, use the base point here, object snap to object snap from end to end. Now I will move this bed from the end point to end point. Let's go to block editor again, test block. Here you go. Now they are closer, close. And here you go. This is the visibility state from the parameter and the close and save. Now let's see what happened to our block. You can see the queen, you can see the twin. For the last example for today, we're gonna talk about array and how you create dynamic input using array. So let's get for this example, this dining table here. The first thing, this still lines, it's not a block, so we need to convert it to blocks. B, enter, give it a name, dining table, whatever the name you need to choose. Pick a point, let's pick a point, maybe the center or any significant other point. Units, inches, select objects. I select the table and the chairs. Make sure you're selecting the object careful here. I'm gonna retain it, but remember you can choose any other options. Also here for the description, I will make, for example, dining table stretch, okay, or any other description that you would like to. Now you will go to insert, you will find it with the blocks dining table. Let's bring it, double click on it, select it. If it's not selected, just make sure you select it, then open it. Now it's open with the block editor and it's ready to make the modification and converting it to dynamic block. In this one, I'm gonna add parameter here, a linear parameter, and from the corner to the corner here, Z the first distance. I'm gonna delete one of the grips, so grip display will be 1. I just need it to go one way. After that, I'm gonna make a stretch to that because I need to stretch this table to the right and make it taller. Now, what I can do here, get action, the same way we did before to the bathtub, get a stretch, select parameter. This is parameter here. Select parameter points here, this X that I need to apply the stretch to. First corner, I need to stretch from upper top right upper corner to the left bottom corner here. This is the stretch. Now select object. I need to stretch this also from the upper right corner to the bottom left corner. So this is the object. Also, I need to stretch this. So I need to move the chair with that. So be careful here if you have some other objects. So you need to select this window, then you select the other objects if you need them to move along with the stretch. Let's finish selecting, hit enter to apply. Let's test the block to see if we did that correctly before moving forward. So here, as you go, you see here that is 3 feet and you can stretch it. As you see, when I stretch, this chair moved along, okay? So here you go. However, what happened here that I need to create more chairs while I'm stretching. So I stretch, but I need to create more chairs, and this is the array. So we applied the stretch at the beginning, but we need to array the chair as we are moving on. So we close the block editor. And for now, we go to the action and we apply array. Okay, select parameter. I need the array with the same parameter. So I stretch and array at the same time. So I will select the same parameter that I use for the stretch. So this parameter will make the stretch and the array at the same time. Now select object, what you would like to array. I will select this chair and this chair because I need to array top and bottom. Now first selecting, hit enter. You will get here a question, enter the distance between columns. Okay, so I can enter it or I can pick points just to give that distance. So I'm gonna pick this point here. So select 2 points and this is the distance from the first point to the second object that will be arrayed. Now let's test the block. You click there, click on this little arrow and stretch. Okay, so here we created more chairs. Close If you would like to give increments, you can click on this grip, right click like we did before, properties, go down here, and we can use increments or lets. So you put the distance of the increment if we need to move it with 6 inches, and the minimum is 3 feet, and the maximum, if you have a maximum of, for example, 6 feet, you just put how much the distance there. Now you close that out. You see that we got here increment. Let's test the block. Okay, so it doesn't go more than 6 because this is the increment that we got. It will not go longer. But if you need to add more, you can close the block. You can right click here, properties, and go back here, make that, for example, 8 feet or any other, and you can change that number. If it happens that you need to delete any of the actions, you can right click and delete, or you can change, like you can go to the action selection set, make a new selection, or modify the selection, or rename the action. So you have different options related. Now, after finish this part, let's close and save. Let's see here our dynamic block, and this is the 8 feet as we mentioned. So in the first one, we applied the stretch and alignment. We applied visibility state to create a different kind of beds. As we go there with the list, we created the array and the stretch with increment. Now, before we end this video, I just need to show you. Sometimes we have in the insert some blocks that we didn't use, and we need to purge them to clean up our drawing. The best way to do that, like it is hard here, you cannot find right click or delete it. So you can, in this case, go to manage and purge. Okay, manage purge, and you see here that you have a list of blocks. Usually you will find a plus sign, and you will find a list of blocks that if you need to delete them. Let's say that I don't need that, so I can check the blocks that I don't need. Okay, for example, this, anything that I don't need, I can check them, and then purge checked items, purge all checked items, purge all. Okay, then close. Here, then you go to insert, so you just see the ones that you are using. But you cannot purge anything that's used. For example, this one, I cannot purge it because it is there. As you see, it's in the insert, it's there because I used it. So any block that actually used will not be purged. But anything that you brought to the library and you didn't use, you can purge them. So I hope that is useful. For today, part 6, dynamic blocks, we've talked about creating dynamic blocks, stretch, alignment, visibility state, array, and adding increments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in future videos.